Shall I start? So, very good evening to everyone. So, my name is Shabnam. So, by profession, I'm a psychological counselor and a certified master trainer. So, the topic I have selected for today is self-esteem. So, to start with, first you have to understand what exactly you mean by self-esteem. So, self-esteem is basically what you think about yourself. It is a combination of your self-confidence and your self-respect put together is your self-esteem. Would you like to know how I got transformed from a very shy and introvert child to an extrovert? If yes, then you have to listen to my story. As a child, I was a very shy and a very introvert child to that extent that when some guests come to my house, I used to get so tensed. So what I used to do is that I used to when I hear the vehicle sound, I used to run and peep through the window. And when I find some people have come, I used to run and hide in the no, I used to run off to the estate, or I used to go and hide in the washroom. And I used to just wait for the car sound so that it's confirmed that they have gone, and I used to come out. And there was a reason why my self-esteem was very low because I was very thin and I was always made fun of, not only by the school, my classmates, but even my own family members, like my aunt and uncle. They used to call me different names, and I was always compared to my sister who was looking very beautiful. Because of this, most of the time, I remember standing in front of the mirror and crying and thinking, why do I look like this? Why have God created me like this? To add on to this, when I was studying in the third standard, I always longed to participate and to take part in extracurricular activities, but my self esteem was very low and that prevented me. So it happened one day, there was a concert which was arranged and there was a dance competition. I always asked my parents I would like to enroll in the dance classes, but they would never agree to that. So one day there was a competition where three students who were practicing dance and who were very good in dance. They were participating, but they wanted another one participant. So the teacher came to our class and asked who would like to participate. Somehow I gained the confidence because I always longed to go on the stage. And I said, I would like to be the part of it. She said, okay. She took me to the dance hall. They turned on the music. Along with the three girls who are very well trained, I was asked to train. I was asked to dance. And that was the first time I was dancing. I just gave it my best. But unfortunately, when the music stopped, I could hear everyone laughing very loudly, making fun of me, even my dance teacher. And that day, I felt really bad. And I thought, I can never do it. It is not my cup of tea. My self esteem became even more, it went down. And I started feeling very, not too much of distress. I remember that day I came back home and I couldn't sleep the entire night. I was crying. Then a turning point came into my life. And because of all these issues, I was always overthinking and worrying. I had no interest in studies. And I was a very average student. I used to fail in three exams, three papers, or three subjects, I can say. A turning point came into my life when I went to the seventh grade. I had a history teacher who was also my class teacher. She observed that I was very withdrawn and very upset, and she came and spoke to me. And when she understood what I was undergoing, she told me, look at yourself in the mirror today. You have such lovely features. When you grow up, you will turn out to be a very beautiful lady. Somehow, her words worked like magic for me. Every time I looked into the mirror, I never thought how thin or how fat I was, but I started looking at my features and thinking that I look beautiful. I started loving my history teacher so much that I started learning only history. Always I was learning history. And to my surprise, when the answer sheets were distributed after the exam, I got the highest in history. She then motivated me, telling, but you got such high marks in history. Why not other subjects? I started studying. I gave my 100% to my studies and I forgot what people are talking and making fun of me. My focus was only on studies. And when I went to ninth grade, I started performing really well. I never came below 10th rank. But this was not enough for me to overcome my stage fear and to gain the confidence and to love myself. My confidence was still low. Again, a turning point came into my life when I was doing my master's of social work. One day, I always had the habit of sitting on the first desk. One day, one of my professor, Mr. Shekhar, he walked into the classroom and he announced that there is going to be an inter-college fest and 10 to 12 colleges would be participating. And one student from each college would be participating and giving a speech. Suddenly, to my surprise, he handed over a sheet of paper to me and he said, from our college, Khadija is going to give the speech. I was dumbstruck. I couldn't speak. I was so tensed. And then the tears in my eyes, because I recalled my previous experience as a child, how I was rejected and made fun of. I started crying and I told, no, sir, I cannot do it. I'm going to make a mess out of it. I cannot. I have stage fear. I've never in my life gone onto the stage and I cannot do it. He would not listen. He just walked out of the class and he went off to the staff room. I remember I literally took the paper, went around begging each and everyone in the class and telling, can you do this on behalf of me? Can you please do it? But none of them would agree because they were scared of Mr. Shekhar. Again ran back to the classroom, in staff room, and I started begging and pleading, telling, please, I will not be able to do it. The head of my department, all other professors came up to him and they said, when she's not confident, why are you forcing her to do? Why don't you ask someone else to do it? But he said, no, she is going to do it. And I knew I had no other option. Those 3 days were so miserable for me. I remember I could not eat, I could not sleep. I was getting nightmares with people making fun of me, teasing me. I was so tensed. And literally everywhere I went, I was holding the paper with me, reading that again and again. And on that particular day, when the program was on, I was standing behind the stage. One by one, the students were going and giving their speech. And when I heard them, I got even more tensed. I felt, my God, they're speaking so well. What am I going to do? And finally, the name of my college was called the College of PSG Arts and Science. I could not move. I was so tensed. And my friends were saying, come on, Vidya, go, go. But I couldn't. Suddenly, I looked up and I saw Mr. Shekhar staring at me. I got so scared of him, I went into the stage. I just went and stood in front of the mic to see a huge audience. And I remember just closing my eyes and saying, God, please help me. And then I started with my speech. I could not hear any sound, but only my sound. I went on and on. And when I started hearing my sound, I became more and more confident. Finally, when I stopped my speech, I ended my speech, I could hear everyone applauding and boys whistling and many saying, who's this girl? Who's this girl? Which college she belongs to? But I was just relieved and done with it. And I came backstage. Only and my professors hugged me, my friends hugged me, and they said, you sounded so confident. Your voice was so nice in the mic. And Dr. Shekhar was standing in the corner. He looked at me and said, I knew you will do it, and you did it. So that was the time I realized, yes, I have some potential, have the strength, I can face the audience. As people say, it's never too late. So from my story, what you must have understood, what was the cause of my low self-esteem? I was always compared as a child with others, especially my sister. Many times I got rejected, body shamed because I was thin. And that filled me with all negative thoughts, thoughts of helplessness, hopelessness. I used to hate myself. And I used to always give more importance to others' opinion about me than what I thought about myself. This led to my low self-esteem. But that one incident where I had given a speech was not enough for me to enhance my self-esteem. That time I only got the realization, yes, I have the strength. After which I had to really work hard to enhance my self-esteem. First thing I did is I accepted myself as I am. I stopped comparing myself with others. I started thinking very positive and developed a very positive attitude about myself. I started loving myself slowly and taking care of myself. And one thing what I did is every opportunity that came in my way, I grabbed it after that because I felt I have missed so many opportunities. If only I realized I had the strength, I would have got so many opportunities and I would have been a happy child. So even in the class, when I had to take some classes for sessions for my own classmates, I never missed the opportunity. I was always there first to grab the opportunity. And today, I feel that, yes, I have developed the confidence to stand in people and talk, and my self-esteem has become adequate enough. So what I would like to tell you all is, see, others' opinion about you does not define your reality. You are what you think you are. Love and respect yourself, and the world will love and respect you. And I firmly believe that as trainers, we need to have an adequate self-esteem so that we can inspire others and bring a change in others' life. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Very well said.
Very well.
Very
Good show.
nice.
Good show.
Great job. Great job. Yes. Okay. Feedback. I want. Okay. There we have Upendra and somebody who's not given feedback yet. So we have Upendra and anyone who's not given feedback yet can. Okay. Start Upendra until somebody else puts their hand. Go ahead.
Shabnam, first of all, thank you for sharing your story with us. It was really, really inspiring. Second, on a lighter note, kudos to you that Sushma did a self-esteem and soon after that you
I
did.
know, I was just thinking when Sushma's saying, oh my God, next I have to do it.
I can understand the butterflies that you must have been going through while you were watching
Very true.
Sushma's presentation, because you were next and you were doing the same topic. Great.
After seeing her PPT, I was thinking, my God, I just did something in the evening. I did feel that. And I said, it's okay, let's go.
I think you were great. Your emotions were to the point. I could feel it. What you were saying, I could feel it. And this is not only about today, but before also when you shared your story, I can feel it. It is really inspiring what you do. Great stability. You had that calm emotion. You were very calm in the entire process. That was really great. If there is one thing that I had to point which could have been better, okay, is the fact that we were stuck on one slide for more than 5 minutes or so, 5 to 6 minutes. Maybe that could have been 2 slides. You in your childhood and you now as a self-adequate. So 2 different slides. So you would have shared that time in 2.5. So that's my feedback. But thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much, Shushma and Navneet also. It was great. It was great.
Thank you so much for the feedback. I will keep that in mind.
Okay, Pujita. Go ahead.
Yes, Shabnam, it was very well presented. I really liked it. And I was involved in your story and I was like connected to it. It was very crisp and it was like, in depth. So I'm it was really well presented. Thank you.
Thank you, Pujita. Yeah, Shabnam.
Yes,
Very
ma'am.
nice. Very nice. The beauty of it is same topic, one after the other. But were they the same?
No.
Completely different presentations. Why? Simply because they're personal stories. If they were a general self-esteem, maybe we would have gone to Google, picked up how to do a presentation on self-esteem. They might have sounded very generic. But the power of a self-story. And that's the reason we say do a self-topic. Because we get used to, as trainers, to tell our own story as the backbone of the presentation. What does it do? It makes that presentation so personalized and it grabs everybody's attention. Because I know what Shabnam is saying is what Shabnam has gone through, or what Shushma or what Navneet is saying is what they have gone through in their life. It's their story. I can visualize you. One was the picture. One, I can visualize you actually listening to that car. Oh my God, have these people gone? That was when you were saying that, I could see that little girl with that frill langa and, the long skirt and the blouse standing behind a curtain and looking a dark night waiting to see the two lights of a car going away, so that then I can slowly come back into my home. The fear, I could feel your low self-esteem when you were telling your story. So nicely done. Yeah, when you spoke about a good voice, you do have a lovely voice. Okay, you do have a very nice voice, and make use of it. Learn to throw it around, learn to modulate it. Very nice. Not that you didn't do, but what I'm saying is, when you have the benefit of a beautiful voice, like our Amitabh Bachchan or Usha Utthap, very nice voice. So use it to your advantage. And what else? Your hand gestures were good. All of you, all the three of you, timings were wonderful. All were on within the time given. You were able to say what you wanted to say. Very nice, Shushma. And the way you put down your PPT as well. What are the things that made you lose your self-esteem, and what did you do to get out of that? You know, actually, when you were talking about Shekhar, sir, and Shekhar, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so you were talking about Shekhar sir standing there and you going around with that paper asking everybody, can you please help me out, help me out. It reminded me a little bit of Three Idiots. Yeah, and this fellow preparing for that speech. Okay, so many visual things were coming into my mind. Okay, the speech, the college, the atmosphere in college and all of that. And then at that point in time, I was thinking, okay, so now Shabnam is going to speak or not speak. Is she going to? So there was a little bit of suspense. Is she going to make it or is she not going to make it? I was like eagerly waiting to see what happened on that stage that day. And then you told me, and then I was thinking, yeah, okay. So she miraculously spoke, but how did she do this and what else did she do? That is what was going in my mind. Remember, I was telling you, mind is like a monkey. It's thinking 200 thoughts at every minute or second. And these were the thoughts going through my mind, but just what I wanted. The next slide came on. What are the things that made you lose your self-esteem? And next to that slide, you said, there were many things that I did to improve my self-esteem, and these are the things that I did. So what I was hoping to get, I got. Okay, and this is for everybody. This is not only for, this is like for everybody to, this is like a model presentation. Okay, so you have to think about what the audience is going to question. Audience is continuously questioning in their mind. Remember that your audience is going to be like me. Like I told you, all the questions that I was having as she was presenting, as Shabnam was presenting. So I kept getting the answers which I was looking for. So that is what is needed, whether it's a 10-minute or a half an hour presentation or a 1 day's program. That is what the audience is looking for. And time on time, if you can give them the starter, main course, and the dessert, okay? That's what I want all of you to think, no matter what presentation it is. Remember that 4-course meal.